You do better to leave them books, sir. Get your head down. You've had fever before.
Never had fever.
I didn't mean Yellow Jack, coming back from Portugal the first time at old Braganza's casts, remember? Perhaps we may need old Braganza's casts again one day.
No, not those. No. The Amazon is to be opened up. My hope is to be principal carrier for the Brazilian State Railway. Could mean years of regular charter. Work for a fleet.
Harry missed a bit old coal.
Why? Coal, iron, supplies. Miles of track to be laid. Whole continent to be opened up.
Will we get it, sir, this contract?
We'll get it.
Not unless you're as fit as a fighting cock. Feed a cold and starve a fever. That's what Mrs. Onedin would have said.
Or whatever she would have said. She's not here to say it now, is she? Our fever will look after itself without you wet nursing me.
You'll be tying up to tree stumps, lifting your own cargo. It'll be hot, swampy, fever-ridden. There'll no doubt be every conceivable obstacle. But we've got to prove that we can ship coal out there regularly and reliably. And that means delivery on the nail.
I've sailed to Brazil before.
And with a long-term contract for 20,000 tons going begging, I don't want any hitch. Also, the government's going to lay 1,000 miles of rail track. If we can get established, this will keep all the ships we can muster moving. Your cargo's a sample, a parcel. Once you get out there, you'll be jobber, packman, tallyman, all on your own. Upon you will depend the opinion the federal government form of our capabilities. So never forget that.
The contract hasn't been signed, then?
It is not. Tell me, could you take a steamer up a tidal river?
A steamer? I have a ticket, but... well, you know steamer, Mr. Fraser.
Your ticket is valid?
It is, but...
You must say no more for the moment. Ah, my dear.
Uncle?
Well, Captain Foggerty, you stepped out of Callan's in good time.
So it seems. This steamship...
No mention for the moment.
I'm most impressed with the tarpon, Captain Foggerty. Your ship is a spanker.
My hope is she'll become the flagship of our Southern Fleet.
The fleet? Gracious, you are confident, then. But I thought Mr. Onedin had assurances for his entry into the Brazilian market.
He has assurances that the contract will be granted by the railway company in Brazil. And we have a month's start on him.
Oh, you are more than confident, then.
No, I doubt if Onedin has the business acumen anymore. Whatever qualities he once had are gone. You'll have your sailing orders within a week, Foggerty.
You are in a formidable mood, Uncle.
With the continent ripe for the plucking, I don't intend to be bested. Good day to you, Captain Foggerty.
Good day, sir.
Excellent specimen of part of Loligo. We call it cuttlefish in English.
Yes, I know. I have it listed in both English and Portuguese.
Most of them, Penura, are exclusively marine of elongate shape, having the mantle beset with spicules. Good morning, Senor Braganza.
I'm finished with pleasantries, Mr. Willis. Jose, you know, it has always been my hope that you would be my agent overseas. Every penny I have spent on your education has been for that purpose.
And I will not go to England again.
You see? Why learn the language if it is to chatter here when I have business for you elsewhere?
England is so flat.
What?
I think Jose means that the incidence of specimens...
The incidence of specimens. You will go to England as I planned.
Father, no.
You will go. I will write again. No more delays.
Then you will be disappointed.
Senor Braganza, I do hope you don't feel that I've encouraged
He will go.
Jose.
I will see that he goes. My friends in England will see that he goes.
You'll find him very determined.
I, too, am determined. If you will excuse me, I have a letter to write. Now I must ask for help with my own son. And Mr. Willis, I paid you for English conversation. But this shells is madness.
Jose is a very talented conchologist.
But I wanted to sell wine in Liverpool. Wine comes in casks, not shells.
Then the wine can stay there. For I'll not set foot in England again.
Portuguese. Shh. Letters coming in from everywhere. Your wife's searching the dock, house full of wine and children, and all you're doing is drooling over pictures of yourself. I tell you, if Gladstone took one look at you, he'd cross the floor of the house. Where are you going?
I have some canvassing to attend to.
Canvassing? What about the steamship, man?
The Onedin is James' concern.
Is that why your wife's gone searching for Fraser? You haven't even opened James's letters yet.
Tell Sarah I may be late.
But the steamship, man. Aren't you listening to a word I'm saying?
There are grave matters at issue before the nation. It's up to everyone with a liberal conscience to take a stand. I shall be at the committee rooms.
Liberal conscience. They'll have the seat out of his trousers. Still, let's both of them out of sight. Cry away, little Annie. Cry away. It's good for the lungs.
Where's Robert?
He's just gone out to the committee rooms. Did you find Fraser?
No, I went along the dock, but he wasn't there. At the dock, they said he was at his office, and at his office, they said he was at the dock.
Do you see the steamship?
No, she's been moved from the dock.
Fraser give his eye teeth to get hold of a steamship, but he can't move the Onedin, not without permission. Robert hasn't signed anything in James's absence, has he? Fraser's already got his hands on the Callan line. Give him half a chance, he'd get into our concerns like a maggot into an apple. Oh, can I get you a glass of Madeira, my dear?
I have told that girl that the Madeira is not to be kept there.
Good heavens, why?
I also said it's time you look for somewhere else. You can't stay here forever.
Stay here?
Yes. I've come to an end of mollycoddling and pampering.
But my little granddaughter, my little Annie.
The child's name is Charlotte. Why do you insist upon calling her Annie?
Because I've feelings, that's why. And you've none.
Then perhaps it would be better if you took them elsewhere.
Anyone on the quay? Family on the quay?
No, sir.
No one at all?
No. If I were you, I'd get your head down ashore, sir. I'll have her unloaded as soon as the crew has signed off and the riggers are aboard. There's nothing for you to do here.
Nobody told her.
Not like it used to be, sir.
I have a meal prepared.
Yeah.
I could not bear to think of you coming home to so much dust and silence. Your sister, Mrs. Fraser, gave me the key. Did you notice the flowers?
The flowers? Oh, yeah. Were there no letters for me?
Yes. Your father-in-law came. He brought you this. It's from Portugal.
Oh. Yeah, Braganza.
Braganza?
It is business.
I thought you might be the want of company. I did what little I could. Your cushions were in sore need of repair.
Managed very well up till now.
I reworked your cushions.
Ah, well, I'm grateful.
Your gratitude is not exactly fulsomely expressed.
Ah, well, you mustn't mind me. You're very young.
If you mean ingenuous, you were glad enough to secure my help with father.
This concerns what attended to with the utmost dispatch.
What I meant was I thought you would appreciate my coming here, simply that.
Ah, well, I'm obliged. I'll see what that is, and I'm not here.
James, I missed you at the quay. Fraser will not see me, nor will his lawyers. And the steamship has been moved from the dock. I think he's putting us off for his own purposes.
You can't move the Onedin.
Well, it's moved. And there's something else. It's family.
Miss Biddle's kindly been attending to the house in my absence, but she was just about to take a leave.
If there's nothing more I can do.
No, I am obliged.
Your father-in-law, Captain Webster. Well, it's bad enough coping with a child not my own, but I can't cope with him as well.
You say the steamship's been moved. I'll see Fraser in the morning.
What do I tell the old man?
What?
Webster. Well, he's got to find another place, James. Oh, it's not as if you were squeezed here.
Give me a day or two. I'll find a place for him somewhere.
No, it's got to be done now. Everything's been left while you've been at sea. Look, James, you'll have to tell him. He won't listen to a word I say. He's old, cantankerous, and untrustworthy. And it's just a freak he hasn't drunk himself into the grave already. The old man's a walking distillery.
My God, a walking distillery, eh? After all I've turned myself into for you, nursemaid and nanny, while she goes shop walking.
Oh, quiet, man. I'm not talking this to you now.
Yes, you have. I've walked the dock. The steamship's not in Liverpool. She's not in the river, not in the docks, not in Fraser's yard. She's definitely been moved.
Oh, I'm told.
And you get no sense out of Robert. He hasn't done a hand's turn apart from his precious vote catching since you left. Oh, James, I can't cope with the child and the shop and him. Something has got to be done about him.
What are you going to do about the steamship?
Fraser's probably got it out on a trial.
What, right out of the Mersey? That's Braganza, isn't it? What does he want?
A favour. Unspecified.
What will about that is?
Well, I can't just up anchor and pull out for Portugal, Mrs. Fraser. No cargo, no prospect.
Braganza's letter isn't clear, but he needs help. Well, maybe he does have a cargo for you. At any rate, those are James's instructions, and he does owe Braganza a good deal.
Oh, I know that. We've done very well out of Mr. Braganza and his empty barrels.
There is one other thing, Mr. Baines.
Oh?
You're to take Captain Webster.
Webster?
James wants him out of the way. It's a family matter. You'll just have to do the best you can, Captain Baines.
I've done that all my life, Mrs. Fraser. I've been through fire, plague, and shipwreck. I've had hard tack that you can lose teeth on. But there's one thing I detest. It's old gaspers with a niff of the white ensign about him.
I shall be in complete command. You realise that? Complete command. The Charlotte Rhodes was my ship once, remember?
You're to represent me ashore. Now, Braganza doesn't say exactly what he wants.
Rest assured, you can leave it to me. I smelt something ticklish as soon as I saw the letter. This Braganza, he's still in the wine trade, is he?
Yeah?
I thought I'd ask. When do you see Fraser?
Tomorrow.
And the steamship? Have you spoken to Robert?
Robert's nowhere to be found. This probably means he knows something and doesn't want to tell us.
Not a word has he spoken to either me or James, and the steamship's been moved. She is not in the dock.
It's James's concern.
Then why avoid him?
Well, he has his concerns and I have mine.
Did you sign anything?
The matter is to be settled between James and Fraser. And please, now, let that be an end to it.
According to Mrs. Maudsley, Mr. Fraser is very confident of securing the Brazilian contract. She says he's talking of fleets.
That is no concern of mine. And now, please, if you'll permit me.
Surely, Robert, you could find time to speak to James.
I have never known you take James's interest so much to heart before. Have you this minute just got rid of Webster to leave yourself more time to prey on me?
He thinks of nothing but his precious politics, and there's not a halfpenny in that.
I know Robert. He must be hiding something.
Now, sir, my chair, if you please.
If you please, indeed. Call that an anchor watch up there? Half-witted by the look of them. Have you washed down after the coal yet?
No, and two of the men are quit already. One of them said he wouldn't sail with you, not if your name was Noah.
Noah? I'd have the flesh off his back for impertinence.
I dare say, but you got to understand one thing, Captain Webster. Aboard this ship, I'm master.
My son-in-law distinctly told me I was to be in complete command.
That's ashore when we're in Elizabeth. Mr. Onedin spilled it out here. Orders. What you do ashore is up to you. Aboard's different. Now, my chair, if you please.
I haven't done with you yet, Baines. When this voyage is finished, I mean to see that you know your place. Letter or no letter.
Why don't you go and chat to the cook? He's got nothing to do either.
No doubt the matter of the steamship will all be cleared up when Mr. Onedin sees my uncle. I must say I was taken with Uncle's captain, Captain Foggerty. An appearance only. He's a handsome man, but he seemed very docile.
Docile, Daniel?
As I say, Uncle seems to think he has this contract in his pocket. He cowed the poor man. Questions, questions. What did he know of river pilotage? Then he asked him if his steamship ticket was valid. They were not keen to discuss that in front of me.
Steamship ticket? Daniel Foggerty has little experience in steam. Is the tarpon to be fitted with engines?
Oh, heavens no, she's a clipper.
Then they must be engaging a steamship out there.
Well, I doubt it. They're a precious few. Oh, so you know this Captain Foggerty?
We have a passing acquaintance.
I'm sure he'd welcome us aboard. Shall we call on him?
I think not.
I just wanted to say, James, that whatever one does in this life, one does it for the best, James.
What's that supposed to mean?
Well, I don't want you to think I've been avoiding you.
Well, speak up.
Well, Father, he was very concerned that we shouldn't overstretch ourselves, James. And in his own way, he had our interests at heart. For my own part, well, I've done the best I can, James. For all of us, I've borne the brunt.
Save your moralising for the voters. Oh, you won't tell me. I'll hear it from Fraser himself.
Oh, but James...
Mr. Onedin?
Yes?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, good morning, Miss Biddulph. If you're looking for James, I'm afraid you just missed him. He's gone to see Mr. Fraser.
With Elizabeth?
Elizabeth?
Yes, I just saw her walking along the dock by the tarpon.
On the dock? Was Captain Foggerty there?
Is anything the matter, Mr. Onedin?
Oh, I can't be responsible. I really can't.
Your intentions are transparent. You will get no information from me, and nor will your brother James.
Cowed, Caroline said. Docile, too. I couldn't imagine it.
You will get nothing from me.
But in a ship's saloon, you at a loss. It's not like you, Daniel. Not like you at all, as I remember.
A business to attend to.
Steamship business, perhaps?
You can't just filch your steamship from her rightful owners. You're not the authority.
Oh, come, can you imagine me proceeding without due respect for the law? The ship was never yours.
Well, look, I admit mortgage, liabilities, and unpaid building installments, but that ship was built and designed by your son, Albert, and myself. We spent 5 years and a fortune preparing for it.
Much too much for you altogether.
What do you mean, too much?
Too complex. You've not the capital, nor the experience.
Well, I'm not coming here for a lecture.
Then I'll be brief. The word that appears more often than not upon these papers is default. The only payments you ever completed were when a keel was laid and when she was framed.
You suggested staged payments, and I paid you the first in full.
But nothing after that. Neither by coin nor bill. For what reason do you suppose people are in business? Social intercourse. There was not a penny piece forthcoming to me as builder, even when she was fitted out.
Well, I specifically said that you were to take a share in lieu of payment.
Exactly, but at the same time, you gave me a verbal undertaking that payment was not far off. That was not honoured.
Agreed, but in my absence, you were to act as managing owner, and my brother Robert had been instructed to act jointly.
He's another one. He was noticeable by his absence. His invaluable contribution was to watch the bills come in and pass them on to me.
Yeah, well, whatever he may have done, it still doesn't give you the right just to shift the ship in which I'm a shareholder.
My dear fellow, you don't seem to understand. The ship is sold.
Sold?
Certainly.
Who sold? The Onedin?
Naturally. As managing owner, am I to keep an idle asset accumulating debts like rust? Apart from what was owed to me as builder, completion payments were never made on her engines. Every day that she stayed in dock, she cost money. As it happens, I was extremely lucky to sell her. We've all come out with a small profit and clean hands as far as our debtors are concerned.
You actually sold her?
Am I to keep on repeating myself? I had no option.
How much for?
Documents are here for you to inspect. The overall figure was just under 16,500. But with completion payments to myself and others, there is left a balance of just over £5,000.
£5,000?
To be divided, of course, between yourself, Albert's account, and myself. Then there's a cost of winding up the company. All in all, it comes out at about £1,000 clear.
1,000?
Give or take a few coppers, but lucky to get it at this time.
Fine reward. 5 years later.
Oh, come. Idle ships are at a big discount. One, if not two, finance houses are on the point of going under. Well, if there are no more questions, I'll have these papers made out for you and my cheque drawn up. You'll find everything itemized and in order.
Who bought it?
The Wirral Steam Navigation Company.
I've never heard of them.
Oh, that's what I mean. If you're too heavily committed, how can you be expected to familiarize yourself with every detail of trade in home waters? If you take my advice, you'll leave it to those whose business it is. Well, good day to you, Onedin. You're not looking too well. I dare say this has come as a shock to you. But I can't overemphasize how bad things are at the moment. If ever there's anything I could... I'll have the paper sent round, with my cheque, of course.
What's happened? He looks dreadful.
Terrible state of affairs, terrible.
What is it?
Well, he's done reasonably well for himself. But he's on the downward path, I'm afraid. First his wife, now his health. These people, they're industrious. They've got a spark of intelligence. But they will get out of that debt. Go on with it.
Keep her steady on this heading.
Aye, aye, sir.
Call that mending a sail, eh? Let me show you how we used to do it in the Navy.
That won't be necessary, Mr. Webster, sir.
We none of us had any idea. In James's absence, the ship was sold.
You can hardly expect an astute man not to act in his best interests. Surely it is not illegal to sell an idle ship?
Your uncle kept her idle in order to decrease her value.
I should think that highly unlikely. Who bought her?
We're a steam navigation company,
Whose major shareholder is your uncle.
don't you see? By deliberately lowering the value, he acquired a better price for himself. He was both the seller and the buyer.
I can't believe it. It's robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Better than that, he is both Peter and Paul.
It's not possible.
It's been done.
So what are you going to do?
Well, that depends on you, perhaps.
On me?
Yes.
So you did not challenge my uncle. Are you now contemplating the courts?
Oh, no, that'd take too long. But you know, there is one question I would like to ask him. Oh, some more tea.
Thank you.
Let me put it this way. I cannot understand why Fraser would want to acquire a steamship at the present time. I mean, of course, I can understand he would want to manage those ships that he builds, which are still left on his hands, but to acquire an additional burden when freight's are low and ships are idle.
Well, can't he get it chartered?
Oh, not so easily. Ships available by the score. He'd only just cover his expenses.
You'll not get your steamer back, so why pursue the matter?
Because I don't like being tricked. Now, there's something Fraser hasn't told me. You see, he's got the steamship, but what does he want her for?
If this weather gets up, you'd be better advised to reef the topsail. I said...
I have it in mind.
Bumboat rig again. Look at that gaffle. Neither coiled, flaked, reeled, nor stowed. I wouldn't like to see you turn round short on a lee shore.
I dare say you wouldn't get the opportunity. Get below.
At the end, I'm noticing things all the time.
Get below!
Dear me, a captain never raises his voice, Baines. Never. Not even a drop of medicinal brandy. And another thing, you're quite mistaken if you think that a man who can scarcely read or write is going to be allowed to deal with a person of brigand's such importance.
If you open your mouth once more...
What? You're an employee, man.
I'll swing for you, I swear. Now, I don't want to be disrespectful to no man of your age, but I've had enough, Webster.
Captain Webster, if you please. Right. I've been expecting this. As soon as we get to Portugal, I shall go straight to a telegraph office.
Telegraph?
Purposes of my own.
If I catch you on that deck again, you'll never see the telegraph office. One more squeak and I'll not be answering.
Not fit to command. Right.
You came here to ask me that.
The allegation is that you deliberately lowered the value of the steamship Onedin.
It was scrap apart from its engines. They were never paid for.
Scrap? A new ship?
It was Albert's brainchild, but it suffered from its birth.
Until you had it adopted?
So, Onedin's been after him.
There are allegations.
Oh, come. Can you imagine me proceeding without due cognizance of the law? Everybody came out of that venture with a profit. Everybody.
I'm not shocked. Merely intrigued.
So you're here on an errand. How did Onedin find out?
You'd better ask him.
Registry of ships, I suppose. I've had a name changed. The Scotch Lass. Like it?
It's bonny. But why a steamship?
You're prying.
Just interested.
If you're worried about him and his sister, don't be. They're Onedins.
I think I have the answer. You wanted the steamship because it was Albert's design. And you couldn't bear to manage anything and make a loss.
Right. Right first time. You tell him that.
You knew you couldn't trust Captain Foggerty.
Foggerty?
He was bound to tell somebody.
Foggerty doesn't know anything. His orders are to the mouth of the river.
The river?
Amazon.
Well, you couldn't get a sailing ship up the Amazon.
The Scotch lass?
I said it was bonny.
Using her to carry iron up the Amazon. A sailing ship couldn't compete. That leaves me what? Free to engage lighters and barges. Nothing new to offer the Brazilians.
Well, at least you know where you stand now.
In second place. Blast him. Oh, blast him and his funny ideas! Oh, come in!
I hope I'm not intruding.
You!
Oh, I am.
Oh, come in!
Good afternoon, Mrs. Maudsley.
I'm just going.
Don't congratulate him yet, will you? Though he may award you a bouquet. Geraniums, I should think.
Now, James, before you say any more, I want to make it quite clear. There'll be no recriminations on my part, none whatsoever.
No recriminations.
A clean start is indicated, I think. No looking over
I
our
sometimes
shoulder.
wonder where we got you from.
Eh?
Which side of the blanket?
Oh, what do you...
You're like wool, man.
Now, James, I've not come here to be insulted.
Somebody puts their foot on you, and if as much which as a dressmaker. Didn't you know what Fraser was up to, eh? I mean, did he play the flute while you signed away your rights as managing owner? What did he do? Whistle you bottle of asking, and when he finished, would you put the lid on again?
I've thought about it, James, and I don't find it profitable to discuss it.
Is that all you're gonna say?
Of my own concerns, James.
You've lost your own money, man, as well as mine.
I know, and I've come to an end of dealing with matters of which I know nothing.
So, you do admit that, then?
Yes, I do, but I'm not without intelligence, James. And I'm no longer going to shilly-shally around as a ship's clerk when I have a career in front of me. I mean, Mr. Gladstone himself said that he can manage affairs of state, but his home kitchen's a mystery to him.
What's happening to you, man?
In the past, I've put you before wife, home, and self. And after all I've done for you, and yours when she was alive, well, it's basic gratitude to suggest that I'm the wit of a dressmaker. And as for your illusion about being born on the wrong side of the blanket, well, you're making remarks about our mother. God rest her soul, that she should hear you say that even from the other side of the grave.
I spoke in haste.
I know, but I still think you might try to learn to curb your tongue in its extremities. I came with this telegraph. From Portugal. It's from Webster. He wants to discharge Baines and he demands an immediate reply.
Discharge Baines?
Yes, clearly he's gone too far as well.
Well, I'm dependent on Baines to secure Braganza's influence in Brazil. Well, it looks as if that fool of a father-in-law of mine's ruined my chances even with Braganza.
What about Baines, then? You want me to make up his wage tally? Although his sister's still a customer. Perhaps it's time she went, though.
Robert, please, just go.
Now, you see what I mean? I was right. What chance would we have with Fraser when you're not even in command of yourself? Now, be sure to deal with that telegraph.
It's addressed to me, and it says, depending on you to oblige Braganza.
Of course, but he means me.
Well, why address it to me?
Matter of courtesy, that's all. Nothing there about your dismissal.
Dismissal?
Ah, he's saving it up, I expect. I always said he was soft in important matters. Well, you better stand to await my instructions. I'll go and change. Oh, by the way, you don't have to have a couple of schooners on you, have you? I've come all this way without a red cent.
So did I.
Well, it's miles to Braganza's office. It's right off the docks.
Bare feet's best for them roads. Or perhaps you might find a donkey.
Signor Braganza, Captain Prescott Webster at your service, sir, and my vessel at your disposal. She's embarrassed at the moment, but no doubt you can soon remedy that. Parching country, this. I passed a vineyard on the way here. One of yours?
Yes. I am Leonora Biddulph. I came to inquire after Captain Onedin. What is the nature of your business? It is personal. Really? Yes. And who might you be? I can't recall yourself having mentioned a... Oh, yes, but wait. Your father has connections with the collieries.
My father is a coal exporter.
Oh, of course. James hasn't an acquaintance who's not of some use to him.
I think that a pity.
Do you?
Yes. It encourages his selfishness.
How very amusing. I didn't know he encouraged his staff to make such pert remarks.
I am not his staff.
Well, I'm at a loss then. Or perhaps you could return at some more convenient time.
No, I will wait. He must be expected, otherwise you would not be here.
Of course.
I beg your pardon?
You must think me unspeakably rude. I mistook you for the person who made those dreadful cushions.
They're not dreadful.
Oh, forgive me. Well, perhaps I will get it right at last. Now, you very kindly do his housekeeping, I believe.
Yes, I help.
Oh, yes, that's it. James will not keep servants. Oh, I do apologize. You wouldn't like to make yourself useful.
I will wait here until Mr. Onedin returns.
Of course. Miss,
Biddulph.
Such a pretty name.
2 days this Captain Webster has been there. How much can he drink?
Oh, I can get him off easy. But what you want can't be done. I can't take your son to England if he won't go.
Captain Baines, Mr. Onedin promised.
We couldn't do it either, not against the boy's will.
But I must have an agent in England. It's not just the wine. We are expanding our trade to Newfoundland. A regular run. Bay salt to Newfoundland. Stockfish down the coast to Brazil.
Brazil?
The South American continent is opening up.
Oh, I know that, sir.
Captain Baines, there are charters for you in profusion. Once I am assured that my Liverpool interests are settled. I cannot progress without Jose there.
I see.
Captain Baines, get him to England. Mr. Onedin will take him into his house. At least try.
Well, why won't your son go, sir?
His hobby has become his disease. His and mine. Shells, birds, feathers, flowers. And England is devoid of the appropriate tropical specimens, it seems.
Perhaps you've been too soft with him altogether, sir.
There he is, El Admiral, Baccalaureate Traditional.
Come on, take his legs.
His legs?
Haven't you never seen a drunk man before? Come on, grab his leg. Your father said you would help me to get him a ball. Doesn't matter, you're frightened of catching something? Come on, Dad. Now, brace him up. That's right. Now, don't shake him or he'll spill. Okay, now, come on, Dad. That's it. Right, put him over there. That's it.
We'll be glad to be rid of him.
I dare say.
And now, Captain Baines, I take my leave of you.
No, sir.
No?
No, sir. I don't like it myself, but I don't see no alternative, nor does your father. You're to stay aboard.
My father? Do you mean you intend to get out of my way?
Now, sir, let's have this more difficult than it has to be.
How dare you touch me?
Mr. Braganza, sir.
My, your forecastle habits have never left you, have they? We've done it this time. That's assault and battery, that is. And I'll stick out, too.
A regular 12-month run. Bay salt. Salt to Newfoundland. And then stockfish down to Brazil.
Captain Baines secured it.
Aye, with Braganza's good officers. And he's bringing his son back.
His son?
Well, the important thing is that we can employ 2 or 3 ships on the round run, you see.
It still doesn't give you the Brazilian contract.
Oh, but it gives me something to fight Fraser with, doesn't it? And I can't wait to do it.
Charter a vessel?
A good carrier.
For what trade?
The Americas.
What are you up to, Onedin?
I merely came to charter a vessel. Well?
I've no ships available.
How about the top one?
Under orders.
A steamship.
I've no steamships.
What about the Scotch lass?
What ship is that?
Fraser, you should put an organ grinder at your back. But let me tell you this. Through my brother's negligence, you have outwitted me. Once. But once only.
Outwitted, yes. I broke no law.
Broke it? You bent it, knotted it, and took it in again, man. But my brother's the ninny. You'll get nothing more out of me, not a brass farthing, and if I have to, I'll race you up the Amazon on the log. But you'll trick me no more. Ever.
The instructions are the same, your cargo is the same. Which will gain at least a fortnight.
Well, we've ready to sail. I've opened articles.
And then close them. And dispatch yourself to Greenock with all speed.
Greenock? Oh, what ship am I sailing?
You're not sailing, Captain Foggerty. You're steaming. You'll take the Scotch lass to Brazil and clinch the contract before Onedin's got his hatches off. Clear?
Aye, sir.
Then move.
Monstrous it was. Without the slightest provocation, he laid the lad out. Folks will have it, I told him.
I done the best I could, sir. It was the only thing in the circumstances.
Wait till you hear the boy's side of the story. I'll go and fetch him.
I had to haze the lad aboard, sir. It was the only way. And I did get the cargo for Brazil.
Senor Onedin, does my father imagine that you can keep me here in England by force?
He does, but he's mistaken. I've written to him. For you, I have a request.
Any request is pointless.
This ship sails within the week to the Amazon. Now, I need an agent, and as you're a naturalist, I thought it might be a good compromise if you were to sail with us.
To the Amazon?
Aye. We go to Manaus and then up the river of the Singing Fish, or so me South American pilot tells me. Elizabeth.
James?
Senor Jose, may I present my sister Elizabeth?
How do you do?
Senor Jose has a poor opinion of us, Elizabeth. We must try and make him feel at home, eh?
Of course.
Oh, Benz.
Brazil contract, sir. Is there still a chance?
Foggerty will be there before us. No doubt Fraser will follow.
But is there still a chance?
Well, steamship gives them a great advantage, but yes, Captain Baines, I think we do stand a chance. Thanks to you.
Just like old times, sir. With a little bit of Shanghai in and all.